What's going on, Swoopers? Welcome back to another episode of Swoop Luke. In this episode, I'll be reviewing the Collingwood-Richmond match that was played in Wangaratta on Sunday, the first Marsh Community game that we played. So let's just roll that intro, jump straight into it.
Collingwood win their greatest ever margin as Collingwood unleashed.
So just quickly, if this is your first time watching Swoop Luke, welcome. If you're a reoccurring viewer, welcome back. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you are a new viewer, hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell so you'll get a little pop-up whenever I upload a video. So let's get straight into this review. So I had the pleasure of driving up to Wangaratta on Sunday to get out and watch the boys. It was a nice, hot, warm, sunny day, perfect football conditions, and the boys looked in tip-top shape, even when they were just running out and having a bit of their run-throughs. I was about 15 metres from the boundary line, and it's probably the closest I've ever been to the guys, so it was really good seeing them in real life, pretty much, not just from the fourth level up on the MCG. So before the game started, Jaden Stevenson pulled out for personal family reasons. He was replaced by Jay Rantel, our number one draft pick, or not our number one draft pick, our first draft pick of the 2019 draft. But other than that, it was a pretty full team, except for the guys that played State of Origin, of course. Jordan Goey was coming back. Elliott was obviously had one of his best pre-seasons for the club, and he was raring to go. So despite Richmond kicking the first goal of the game, we piled on the next 5, starting with a goal from Chris. I'm not going to go really into every single individual goal kicker, but the first quarter, the boys were on fire. We were playing a nice brand of football. Because I was on the first level, or the hill pretty much, couldn't really get a survey of the whole ground and how we were really setting up. Could only see from what I was seeing. I was a bit in the on the flank, in between the flank and the 50-meter line. But it looked like that the boys were willing to spread wide when we could, but if they wanted to attack on the offense, looks like we were going through the corridor a little bit more than we were in the last couple of years, which is nice to see, taking the game on. We are a really good defensive side, and we did show that in parts on Sunday. But again, first practice match of the year pretty much, so there's a lot of fine-tuning to go. So like I said, I really like the look of our first quarter. We were leading, we were better statistically in, disposals, uncontested possessions. We were doing really well in the clearances without Brodie Grundy. Darcy Cameron and Mason Cox were dominating the ruck against, I think it was Soldo for the Tigers. Second half was more or less the same. We piled on goals. Richmond kicked another couple as well. It was mainly played in Richmond's half, but our defence held up, which was really good. Third quarter, it was all Richmond. We didn't kick a goal. But the last quarter, we really stormed.
Hands it off to Goey, yes. He should do. And Goey does what he normally does.
The so-so football that lost us winnable games last season. So a couple of notes from the game was, yes, it was a preseason hit out, so you don't want to take too much. Everything with a little bit of grain of salt. Richmond had, I think, 5 or 6 of their players out as well because of State of Origin. But like I said, beat them in disposals, clearances. We scored 5 goals from clearances, and that's without Brodie Grundy as well. So that's very nice to know that we've got that a little bit covered if we can. And we did well in uncontested possession, which, just chipping it around and trying to create that space and then create that run. So there are quite a lot of standout players for me. So I'm just going to rattle off a couple of names, explain why I like them and stuff. First one, just going off the top of my head, John Noble, mid-season draft pick. You can see that a first preseason at an AFL club did him wonders, racking up the disposals, and he was that link-up guy off half-back. His first half was phenomenal, and it kind of went with how the Pies were playing. Everyone dropped off in the third quarter, so I'm not going to really count that. But his first half was really, really good. Linked up well with Jack Crisp as well, and Chris Mayne. Now, Chris Mayne, I want to talk about him quickly as well. Signed that contract extension. We all know what happened with him in 2017. But on Sunday, he had 30-odd disposals. And I love playing him in that half-back line. I know he was a winger last season, but playing off that half-back line, leader in the back line, and kind of like what I said about Noble, he is a link-up player. And because he's a mature head, he knows exactly where to go. He knows his, peripheral vision and stuff, and he can hit those targets. Elite user by foot. Shout out to Mason Cox as well. I think he performed really well. It was one of his better games since the start of last season, really. He only kicked 1 goal, but he was a constant threat up forwards. Took 6 marks. 4 of them were contested. 3 of them were in the forward 50. And what I liked about Cox was that if he was in a position where he wasn't going to mark it, he would bring the ball to ground, use that body, and get the guys to do the groundwork, which isn't something that he was doing a lot last year. So it looks like he's been learning in that preseason. A good segue from Cox is to Darcy Cameron, the new kid on the block from Sydney. He had an outstanding game. There was lots of talk where it's like, oh, he can't take a mark, he can't kick. This was before or when Collingwood were recruiting him. He had 20 hitouts, 2 really good goals, 7 marks in total, 5 contested, and they were all really good contested marks. He can take a grab, he can kick, and he is really good in the ruck. He looks like he's really good as a second ruck. You wouldn't play him, as a first ruck, especially with Grundy and stuff. But if I had to pick just on Sunday's game, Cox or Cameron, I would lean towards Cameron. I'm really liking the way he looks, and as soon as he came here, by all reports, he just hit the ground running as if he had a point to prove, and I think that a point is starting to get proven. And just a quick shout out to Jay Rantel as well. In that last quarter, 9 disposals, 2 score involvements, and he went at 100% disposal efficiency. I'm pretty sure, now because I didn't watch the replay, couldn't have time, but I'm pretty sure he only played maybe the last quarter or the last half. I definitely didn't see him in that first half. Same with Trent Bianco. But that last quarter, phenomenal. Like I just said, 100% disposal efficiency with his 9 disposals, 2 scoring involvements. It would be remiss of me not to talk about Jordan De Goey. First game back, he just looked like he was going in second gear, really going through the motion, but kicked 3 goals, went at about 60% disposal efficiency, but you're going to get that when it's your first real game back. But 3 goals, really turns it on in the last quarter. Started off deep in the forward line, pretty much a full forward. With him sitting deep, that meant Elliott was in the midfield. Loved Elliott in the midfield, by the way. And you can see that throughout the game, they kind of switched. Elliott then went deep forward. Jordan De Goey went into the middle. When Jordan De Goey goes into the middle, I think everyone just fears for their life around the ball, because what that means is now he's got free range from, the centre pretty much onwards up to goal, and he's just a bustling body in that midfield. Can get his own ball, can hit targets, really good by foot, and obviously can kick a goal when he is that deep forward. So do you keep him deep forward? Do you keep him in the middle? If Elliott is fit enough to stay in the middle and obviously pinch it up forward, I think definitely keep Jordan De Goey as our deepest forward. Alright, so I'm going to call this the Kane Corner. Get out your Irish jigs, get out your Irish jugs, get some beer in ya, because our boy Mark Kane is going to light the football world up. Mark my words. I love this kid. Absolutely love him. I think he's 19 or 20, so there's a lot of scope for improvement. Had a good season in the VFL. There was lots of raps about him. Buckley said in his presser that he was really close last year to a debut, and you can see why. He really reminds me of a Darcy Moore type. What I mean by that is the way he, takes the game on, good kick, he can read it in the air, flying high, spoiling the ball, marking when he had to. He's really smart for a guy that's only picked up the oval ball in the last couple of years, and I cannot wait to see his development. I think he debuts this year, probably against like a Gold Coast or an Adelaide, a Sydney, somewhere where it's not going to be that, not impactful, but not a huge game. You're not going to put him in against a full-sized Richmond or a full-sized GWS, unless obviously we have to. And I would trust him, but I think he needs those smaller games to kind of build up his momentum in the AFL. But yes, definitely, mark my words, Kane is going to be something special.
Pickett. Boy, takes him on and to his detriment. Kane wrapped him up, the Irishman.
The only dislike that I can say, which is what all you guys think as well, Adam Treloar tweaking that left hamstring. as I'm recording this, reports have just come out that he'll miss round 1. He's got a 21-day rehab, which is 3 weeks. Confident he'll be there round 2. But thankfully, that hamstring tweak isn't in 2018 when he did both hamstrings against Carlton. It's got nothing to do with that. It's in a whole new region. It's only a tweak, only a nick, so we can thank our lucky stars of that. I just wanted to make a quick video. There's not really much to say. I don't want to go too in-depth. It is just a Marsh community game, just a preseason game, so nothing really at stake besides seeing, like I said, new players, who's lining up where, and who can we expect to debut, and the system that we're playing and stuff like that. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know who you're keen to see debut, who you liked about what you liked about the Marsh game, what you didn't like about our Marsh game, and yeah, I look forward to hearing from the lot of you. So in the meantime, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets, and until next time, double shackers, I'll swoop you later. In this episode, I will be belatedly, but on Sunday he had over 30